Hello, my name is Nyongoneli. So for today we are going to be joining an ICT Zoom class. But before we join the class, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It will bring you some good luck in your forthcoming exams.
If I'm not mistaken, that's where we arose from this particular figure there. And we had a lot of submissions here and there, if you remember very well. So I'm going to try and get off this. And I have a feeling, I think we had also covered some bit of this. Not so? The different levels. I think we had looked at them. Well, we looked at the operational level. We also went on to look at knowledge level system. We looked at these things, not so? Someone remind me, did we?
No, sir. We stopped at that diagram.
Not really. Okay. Let's get started with this. I'm going to move a little faster today because I need to get done with this topic this evening so that next week we start on a new topic. The operational level system mainly looks at the systems that work at the lowest level of management. And the key things that we consider while looking at them is they keep track of elementary activities. Elementary are those routine activities that are done on a daily, and some of them may not be too technical, but they support the vision of the organization. You're looking at things like sales and the flow of materials in the factory. Things like ordering, things like receiving, things like receipting, those are elementary activities. And in there, we also get to note that data is current and accurate because it is just the way you get it. You get it from the source and we process it to the upper levels of management. Systems at this level mainly answer routine questions like how many parts are in inventory, how many have we sold in a particular period of time. So those are the questions that we look at that point. Then the knowledge level systems support organizational knowledge and data workers. Where do knowledge level systems operate? Someone can tell me that. Where do they operate? Yeah? Where do knowledge level systems operate? Knowledge level systems, where do they operate? Okay. They support organizational knowledge and data workers. By the time we read this statement, maybe you'll have an idea. The purpose of knowledge level systems is to help the business firm integrate new knowledge into the business and to help the organization control the flow of paperwork. You're getting an idea. Integrating new knowledge into the business. Knowledge level systems, especially in the form of workstations and office systems, are among the fastest growing applications in business today. And they involve office automation. Where do they lie on the diagram? Is it at operational level? Is it at the management level? Is it at executive level? At? Nelly, at the what? Thank you very much. That is at the operational level. Thank you, Nelly. That is good. As long as you see anything involving automation, you're looking at things like controlling flow of paperwork. You're still looking at the processes that are routine. Thank you. Then we have the management level systems. These serve the periodic monitoring, control, decision-making, and administrative activities of middle managers. When you see the word middle managers, it takes us back to our diagram, and it clearly tells us that everything we are looking at here is covered under the management level, which is the middle level, that is the tactical level. The principal question addressed by such systems is, are things working well? Is the business working well? If you ask yourself such a question of, are things working well, or is the business working well, you're automatically pushing yourself into the question of monitoring, the question of control, and the question of management. Management level systems typically provide periodic reports rather than instant information. On operations. Okay. Then strategic level systems. They help senior management address strategic issues and long-term trends, both in the firm and in the external environment. You're looking at long-term, you give 5-year planning and strategy. Their principal concern is matching changes in the external environment with existing organizational capability. That's why you look at things like strategy, long-term plans, and things of that nature. That's why we look at things like when we do an analysis of what we call the PESTEL, the political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal analysis. What is our grounding as an organization? Okay, then internal and external information is vital. So internal and external information automatically leads us to the PESTEL analysis and the SWOT analysis there. What product should we produce in the next 5 years? You're looking at long range planning, and what will employment levels be in the next 5 years? Automatically, when you see the period of 5, it takes you to the long-term analysis. Okay. So the major types of information systems are, there's what we call the transaction processing systems, which we say to operate at the operational level. Knowledge work systems, operational level. Office automation systems, operational level. Management information systems, tactical level. Decision support systems can be both at tactical and executive level. But when you see executive support systems, or what you call the executive information systems, they operate at the strategic level of the organization. Okay. Hope we are still together. Are we? Are we on track?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there are some that I'm going to skip. Things like when you look at transaction processing systems, what is it about? You look at order tracking, order processing, things that we can all read and understand. So you'll allow me to skip those. Current and accurate data, we've already said. I'm skipping that because I need to move it. Aid in the creation and integration of new knowledge, we've already seen that. That I'll also skip. Office automation, we've already seen that. Of word processing, document imaging, emailing, messaging systems. And maybe something to emphasize here is the move, you're looking at designing to increase productivity of data workers. And the move, we are moving towards a paperless office. That's where you look at office automation. And we are trying to improve workflow using integrated office systems such as email, word processing, and presentation graphics, electronic. You're looking at easing work across the office. Then MIS, they serve planning, control, and decision-making through routine summary and reports. And you're looking at sales management, inventory control, annual budgeting, capital investment, relocation analysis. That's where you look at management information systems. Automatically, as you look at that, you remember that we are looking at the tactical level of the organization. Tactical level. The tactical level of the organization. And they provide summary reports on data generated by the transaction processing system. So you look at now the connection between those levels of the organization. They typically use simple models to help managers understand what is happening in the business. The simple models could be in line with the data that has been generated and what that data is used to do in regard to decision making. Summary reports are used to plan budgets, using budgets using past and present data and are tailored for specific business needs. Reports include schedule reports, drill down reports. Drill down reports are, they could be from a particular upper level to the lower level. Those are drill down reports. They're also what we call up. They're also what we call down up reports. Then there are what we call demand reports, exception reports. All of those are kinds of reports that we get at this level. The examples are: how many mobile phone accounts have we sold? How many mobile phone users have left? What products are selling best? How much does it cost to produce a certain product? You realize that for us to arrive at decisions or to arrive at the answers to these questions, we must be well grounded in the operational level. Then decision support systems, they are flexible systems that ask what if. The what if is mainly around, if this happened, what do we think could be the repercussion? What if, and by changing a number of variables and then find out what the outcome might be. So we keep on altering variables. If it's in production, we keep altering the materials, or we keep altering some of the resources to make sure we get the best that we want to get. The decision support systems help managers make decisions that are unique, rapidly changing, and not easily specified in advance. Data taken from the transaction processing systems, it allows for sophisticated modeling. The sophisticated modeling sometimes gets into thinking about what is it that we expect vis-a-vis our competitors. We usually use decision support systems to make decisions about competition. They're giving, we have an example in the notes that looks at stockbrokers. Stockbrokers using programs that will automatically put in requests to sell shares once they reach a certain price, either high or low. So it keeps on monitoring so that the best decisions are made at that particular time. Then still under DSS, systems combine data, models, and analysis tools for non-routine decision making. Then DSS have more analytical power than other systems. Why more analytical power? Because of the data they take from the MIS. Remember, with MIS, we've aggregated data. We have produced reports. So the analysis will come in to make more meaning out of that data that has those to analyze data, or they condense large amounts of data into a form in which they can be analyzed by decision makers. You're looking at the decisions they make is sales region analysis, production scheduling, cost analysis, profitability analysis, contract cost analysis. I think in accounting and finance, you've covered some of these things like profitability analysis you have seen, contract cost analysis you have seen, cost analysis you have seen, production scheduling, you've seen that in EPM, elements of production management. Yeah. Then executive support systems, they aggregate data from internal and external sources, attempts to project data into the future for long-term planning. Then bespoke systems. You remember in your ICT when you looked at something called bespoke systems. What do you remember? What do you remember? Bespoke systems?
Software ready for use by the, it's like off-the-shelf software ready for use.
Off-the-shelf software. Pardon? Is it my network or it's the network that side? Everyone seems to be breaking. Is it my network?
No, sir.
Okay. Bespoke systems. You are telling us something. Please come back and complete. Hello?
Is that
Excuse me, sir.
software?
Hmm.
Hello?
Is that
Yes, MM.
software? Is sometimes it's called off the shelf, and
Yeah.
it is customized to meet the needs
Hmm.
of a specific field or individual needs.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, MM. I think there's an issue with my network. I don't know. Seem to be getting funny feedback. So we are saying that bespoke systems, specifically for senior management, they address non-written decisions requiring judgment, evaluation, and insight because there's no agreed on procedure for arriving at a solution. Do you realize that as we look at systems at this level, you don't have, they speak to experience, they speak to maturity, they speak to an understanding of a subject area. So it is not routine like in the first level. Then it is also not so, it doesn't really cater for those short-term decisions, but it looks at a person who has the right judgment, the right evaluation, the right insight into a particular scenario based on the information they have from the lowest levels. So they employ the most advanced graphics software and can deliver graphs and data from many sources immediately to a senior executive's office or to a boardroom. Look at aggregation. Looks at you look at the departments or units of an organization and how best to visualize the data from about 10 units of an organization. Take an example of a bank. You have a marketing department, you have a operations department, you have human resource, you have loans, whatever you want to call them. But the person at the top would like to see the performance of all those departments in just a go. That's where executive support systems come in to help. Yeah. So they also look at 5-year planning, personnel planning. This is where the guys at this level, sorry about that. This is where guys at this level will sit and know that in the next 5 years, we shall need a new information system. We shall need a new ERP that will help us either deal with the large number of, the growing number of customers or the growing operations. So that is where planning is done. Systems from a functional perspective. Functional perspective mainly looks at the different units that we are likely to have as an organization. Look at sales and marketing systems that mainly look at sales management, market research, promotion. Some of these you will read. I'm not going to really dwell so much on them. The major application systems are sales order info systems, market research systems, pricing systems. Then I want to go on to another, look at manufacturing and production. We are looking at systems from a functional perspective, the different functions in an organization. Did someone say I'm very speedy? Yeah, okay. Okay, sorry about that. Let me tone down a little bit. Thank you for the feedback. Manufacturing and production systems. And as I go through this, I believe you remember my computer is misbehaving today. That's why sometimes I delay. Manufacturing and production systems, you're looking at what are the major functions of these systems. You're looking at scheduling, you're looking at purchasing, you're looking at shipping, you're looking at receiving, you're looking at engineering, and you're looking at operations. As you look at these things, they send a signal to you in regard to the manufacturing and production function. If you look at scheduling, what are we scheduling? We are scheduling maybe the receipt, or we are scheduling the outward movement of maybe products or materials. Then shipping, receiving. In EPM, you must have covered these things. Then the major application systems, you're looking at materials resource planning systems, purchase order control systems, engineering systems, quality control systems. Is that speed okay now? Can I move with that speed?
It's very okay.
Okay, thank you. Oh, look at, for example, machine control facilities location, where under machine control, you're looking at the actions of machines and equipment that is mainly done at operational level. Production planning, when and how many products should be produced, that is at management level. Then where are we going to locate a particular facility? That is mainly at the strategic level. That I will skip. Then look at finance and accounting systems that mainly look at budgeting, the general ledgers, billing. We are looking at cash. We are looking at, you look at assets, you look at liabilities. So many things fall in there. The major applications are general ledger applications, accounts receivables, accounts payables, budgeting, funds management systems. I think many of us are very aware when I talk about general ledgers, accounts receivables, accounts payable, budgeting, funds management systems, and things of that nature. Then here we are mainly, there's a big denotion in regards to the accounts receivable, it tracks money owed to the firm, that is, prepares short-term budgets, that's at management level. Then when we talk about profit planning, it mainly looks at the long-term planning. You can't mainly look at profit in regards to this in just a year or two. Sometimes it goes into a long-term framework. Then human resource systems, where we look at personnel records, the benefits, compensation, gratuity, labor relations, training, employment. There are so many things in there. And the major applications here are payroll systems, payroll systems, employee record systems, benefit systems, career path systems, personnel training systems. Okay. Training and development is at the operational level. Compensation analysis is at management level. Human resource planning now goes to the strategic level. I think that is clear. Relationships of these systems to one another. I want you to look at how those arrows move. Who can explain based on how those arrows are denoted? Someone throw out some light there. Yeah. Look at those arrows in regard to executive support systems, decision support systems, transaction processing systems, and MIS. What do those arrows represent? Look at them critically.
So I think they show the flow of the information after it has been brought into a proper meaning.
Yeah.
For actually supporting the decisions at the executive level, that is executive support systems.
Yes. Thank you. MM.
Yes, sir.
I want you to look at the transaction processing system and look at the management information systems and the DSS. Do you drive some bit of meaning there? Those arrows that move from the TPS to the DSS and MIS. Just give it an outlook and tell me what you find. Another person can also have an idea. I'm not only talking to one person. Yes, Sir Richard. Sir Richard.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you, Richard?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you, sir?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing,
Mm.
according to the transactional processing system,
Yeah.
I think it's the main head where the data flows from the transaction, then it goes to the decision support system, then it goes to the executive support system.
Yeah.
Then also it goes to the management, then it ends on the executive. It means executive is getting the final all the information which is collected from the transaction,
then
passing through the management and the decision support system to the executive person who is the final person.
Okay. Thank you for that submission. Thank you, Richard. Someone with a different idea?
Okay, sir.
Mimi? Richard, please mute. Mimi, you have an idea? Mimi? Any other idea, guys? Yes, MM. You seem to have another idea.
When I look at the arrows from the transaction processing system,
yeah,
it's like after data has been processed here, it moves to the management information system.
Yes.
But in the process, it has to first move to the decision support system such that it can be
aggregated.
Integrated. Yes, integrated.
Yeah.
And then it can be made of use.
Thank you. Thank you for that observation. Thank you, MM. However, before you go off MM, you also realize, you also look at the management information systems that will flow direct from the transaction processing system direct to MIS and to executive support systems. I will task you to just identify which information that may be. When you look at the arrows here, they speak to a direct pass from the TPS to the MIS to executive support. However, there's also some information that must be aggregated from TPS, MIS, then to DSS, and then to executive support systems. You will be able to find out that as you read along, but thank you for the submissions. That is MM and Richard. Thank you. I hope guys are learning. Are we learning something?
We are
guys?
following.
Are we picking something?
Yes.
Thank you. Following is different from picking something. Catherine Murunji. Are you following or picking? You're picking, okay. Harriet, any issue? Harriet? Aloyo?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have a submission? Okay, thank you. I'll move on to relationship of systems to one another. We are saying that in contemporary digital firms, the different types of systems are closely linked to one another. This is the ideal. They should all work hand in hand. In traditional firms, these systems tend to be isolated from one another. And some of you that work, I think, are able to information system. Yet in the real sense, when you talk about integration of systems, they should be able to speak to each other so that the decisions are made. And information does not flow seamlessly from one end of the organization to the other. Efficiency and business value tend to suffer greatly in these traditional firms. This statement is very clear, and we can all attest to the fact that unless pick blinder, picky, mute your microphone. Just make sure you don't get feedback. I'm using headsets and the feedback kills my ears. Okay, we are saying that systems must be able to speak to one another. We should not find instances where one system is independent of the other. That means if one is independent, you'll find that decisions made at some point will actually be will actually be lacking because of their inability for these systems to speak to one another. In summary, computer-based information systems pervade almost every aspect of our lives. Pervading is they actually transfer. A system is a set of components that work together to achieve a common goal. That one we've already said. Then subsystems, they perform a limited task that produces an end result, which must be combined with other products from other systems to reach an ultimate goal. Then we said data processing has 4 stages. Again, in summary, any information system that helps management is a management information system. And there are many different types of MIS. And those MISs usually are in line with the business functions. That is, and there are a few ways you can discuss that question when you get your time, especially in your groups. Discuss the factors for evaluating information system services in organization. Your notes. Just give me about 5 minutes. I need to get a better internet connection. I think I'm getting issues with this one. Let me turn on my internet, the other connection, and I'll be back in just a short while. We are back. We are going to start on something new. Maybe do we have any questions on the topic that we've just covered? Let me start by asking that. Someone has a question? Maybe some clarification? Because people said I was rushing, and let me hear from you if there's anything that you've not understood, so that we use the next about 45 minutes to cover something else. Are we okay? Can I say we are all okay now?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I would like you to bring back the slide that had the relationship between the management information system, then the...
Ethan.
Yes, please.
Ethan, your network is breaking. Eh?
I'm saying...
Yes.
You bring back the slide that had the relationship between the decision makers, then the executive.
Okay, let me just get it here.
Yeah, that slide.
Let me cast it for you. Get it here. That one there? Ethan, are you talking about that slide?
Yes, I'm talking about this one here.
Yes, please.
Now, I would like you to give some question on this relationship. Are you trying to end that the...
Shana, please mute. Yes, Ethan, sorry about that.
Yes, it's okay. Now, the transaction processing system and the management. Now, the transaction...
I'm listening.
This is where most of the work is being done.
Yes.
Actually, I can call it the technical part of the technical level of management, the tactical ones. Now, the management information system, they give guidance for decision making to be done.
Yes.
They say that it's the executive that will approve the overall, or that become the overall decision makers, or decision making is done at the DSS. And then what does the executive support system do?
Actually, what the DSS does, it provides what we call support for the decisions that are going to be made. What the DSS does is simple. It mainly tries to aggregate the data that the executive level needs for the effective decisions. That's why we said it has a lot of graphical ability, that the graphical ability helps the guys at the top to get a summary of the performance or the summary of the data from the entire function of the organization. I don't know if I answer you, if I put it that way.
I get it.
You get me now?
Yes, please.
Okay, are we okay? Okay, any other question before I move on to the next part? Please ask. Don't just be participants.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Stella.
Yeah, like pardon on that, this relationship of these systems.
Now,
is
you're saying? Okay.
Pardon on that relationship of these systems.
Okay, I want you to look at this figure very well. And I think it was MM who was trying to explain, then Richard earlier before, that when you look at the transaction processing system, just like Dithan was saying, it is the anchor. It is the anchor on which the organization fits. And if you remember from the triangle, it is even the biggest, it carries the biggest, it seems to be the biggest, with the biggest number of staff and that kind of thing. Whatever is done in the routine way, whatever is done at that level, will provide ground for the MIS, the guys at the middle level, to take any decisions. That explains, hope you can be able to see my cursor. That explains the arrow that faces the management information system. However, the information that is generated from the transaction processing system sometimes will be required to be aggregated, at the decision support what? At the decision support system. Then when information reaches the MIS, that is the management information systems, some of it will go direct to the executive support system. However, we might be required to have this information aggregated under the decision support systems so that decisions are made at the executive support systems. If you remember, I'll take you back a little bit into what you covered. I think it must have been in ICT 1, where there was an issue of what information is required at what level of the organization. What information is required? If you remember very well, the determinants for the information sometimes were in regard to the level of management where that information is required. So you get to realize that the detail that is required of that information will depend on where that information is going. I don't know if I answer that question. Gambo.
It's fine. I've understood.
Okay. Thank you, Nick.
It's fine, sir. However,
yes.
In my own opinion, I expected some arrow to run from the transaction processing system direct to the executive. Because
your network is breaking, Dithane.
Yeah, what
Dithane.
I'm saying.
Yes.
I'm using headsets. What I'm saying. In my opinion, I expected some arrow to run from the transaction processing system to the executive systems, to the executive support system, in a sense that these days in modern times, you find like the executive support system, okay, people in the executive, they run to the ground to get some information that will help perhaps in running systems, in running business. Yes. And at times they neglect management. Management and these decision makers, at times they compromise some decisions that help in business. So you find the executive running to the ground, get some information. I don't know what you have to say about that.
But that one is very
some arrows run direct from the transaction processing systems to the executive support systems.
That one is very true, but yes, MM, you had something to say?
Sir,
if I come in.
Would you allow me to add on this one is trying to throw light why the arrow is not there?
Yeah.
So we realize that at the transaction processing level, we assuming we have customer orders. The executive doesn't want to know about customer orders. All it would want to know is what has happened between there to get the best, or maybe to know how many customers do we have on table?
Yes.
Which product performs better in the market? They want conclusions. The system basically integrates only conclusions to them. But when you look at this arrow, the one we are trying to argue about,
it doesn't look at specific details. It looks at the summary details.
Yes. Now, for example, when we look at the management information system here, let's take an example of statistics of human resource, say in mobs. Such statistics will not be needed by the executive straight away, but it will need to be disintegrated and made simple for them to take quick decisions. That's why this arrow that is moving across to the DSS is there. Then where you say sometimes we require this one, transaction processing system, where the information sometimes will require to be aggregated. Now, all these, say the policies, the statistics of human resource are brought here to the DSS such that it flows to the executive support system. And now here at the management information system, on that straight arrow from there, we must appreciate that there is some information or reporting that is straight done to the management or to the executive. Say, for example, when you want to report on the level of said demand of human resource in the organization, you can report directly to them because it is simple. That's what that's my submission, sir.
Thank you, Actually, you saved me the hassle. Dithan, let me hear. Dithan.
Yes,
put Dithan.
Yes, sir, I'm on.
Did you get the idea now?
I picked what was saying.
Thank you, Thank you. Let me have the last hand on this part so that we move. Nick.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I have a question on the DSS. How does the DSS work? As in, how does it work? Because, how does it make decisions?
Nick, ask your question again, the network.
Yeah, how does the DSS make decisions as indirectly like that? Because we see it takes information from the TPS to DSS. How does it make its decisions to take them to the ESS? How does it?
Unlike the TPS, the MIS, and ESS that speak directly to the decisions that are made at the different levels, you will find that the DSS, just like was explaining, it is a supportive system to help the executive level take decisions. Its main role is to aggregate data from various sources, which data is then sent to the executive level for decisions. Nick?
Okay, sir, I understand.
Are we okay?
Yeah, we are fine. So what you meant is that the DSS is just being fed the information by all the MIS and to summarize.
Actually, it is a support system. Okay. It supports the functions of the TPS and the executive systems.
Okay. Can you give us an example of a DSS?
I'll give you an example of. Do you know they call a walkthrough system? A walkthrough system that is able to detect maybe travelers and how they are going. Do you think there are so many decisions that are made there? No. But when that decision, when that system is actually being used, you'll find that the information generated aids mainly in the decisions that are made up there in regard to how many travelers do we have, and maybe which destinations do they take. Whereas the decisions that are made at the transactional level of the people that check them in, the routine destinations and the card processing just feeds into that system to help the guys at the higher level take decisions on the routes and how best we can plan on the routes. Can we take that?
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you, Nick. Okay, I'm going to move to the next part. Thank you for the engagement. I'm going to move to the other part. So I'll stop this screen and share a new screen. The new screen is here. Okay, I'm sharing a screen here, sorry. My computer is slowing down. It's also getting tired. So we are looking at transformation. Maybe before I move there, I want to first keep it there. Let me get an idea from you. And this time, let me get someone to tell me, what do you understand by the term transformation? Yeah? What do you understand by the term transformation, guys? Desire, Nasali.
Change.
Yes, Okalan. Edwin, yeah?
Transformation basically means to change.
Yeah, it means change. Thank you very much. Apart from change, can you add something to that, Edwin? Change, Edwin.
Yes, sir.
Edwin? Yes, Stuart.
It's a series of events.
A series of? Stuart? Stuart? Chigundu?
Events.
A series of events that are aimed at. It is a bit incomplete. I would like you to complete that statement.
It's a series of events. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
It's a series of events.
I get you. Thank you, Stuart. Jamie? Jamie?
I think transformation.
Jamie looks Zim. You guys have names.
I think transformation is to change and from a state to attain a new form. Hope I'm clear.
From one state to attain a new form. Yes. Yeah. From one state to another state. Thank you. Thank you, Jamie. Agaba Marvin. Marvin?
I think transformation is change for the better.
Actually, that is what that is what I was looking for. Thank you, Marvin. MM, you had a hand. Let me hear you before I move on.
So I said partly what I was thinking, but it's the gradual process. It's the gradual process of getting the best out of what the best results at the end.
Thank you. Getting the best results at the end. Gradual process. Thank you, MM. Let me hear from Harriet Aloyo. Harriet.
So according to me, transformation is where an organization is and where it wants to be.
Is
like
and where it wants to be.
Organization yes, that process.
That process. Partly, thank you. Partly, that is it. Lastly, Agaba Marvin, before I move on, guys have submissions. Marvin, Agaba.
I answered already, sir.
Hey, thank you. I'd left your
change for the better.
Mic. Thank you. Neumbe, Rachel.
Sir, I think transformation is like the act or a process of changing completely from maybe an old system or maybe to some other new opportunity like that.
You're moving from one state to another. Thank you, Rachel. The last one?
Yeah, for me, I call it a series of events that are aimed at achieving effectiveness or efficiency within an organization. Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, sir. I'm looking at it as a series of events.
Thank you. Okay. Yes, I got this effectiveness in an organization. Thank you. Edwin, you still have something to tell us? Okalan?
So I was saying that maybe it can also mean a series of a change in stages.
A series of stages?
Changes in stages.
Changes in stages.
Yes, from that basically changes from one form to another.
Thank you. Okay. We're using the word change or a series of events, and maybe some of you are just missing out on the either side. Stuart, Gamampure. Okay, Stuart, you have something to say? Your hand is up. Richard, before I move on, because I want to start to move on.
Transformation is a series of events used to align people.
Transformation.
Richard,
transformation is a series of events used to align.
Your network is bad. Okay, let's move on. Your network is bad. Your network is bad, Stuart.
Processes.
We can't hear you well, Stuart. Okay, let's move, Stuart. It's okay.
Of a given company.
Yes, your network was bad. Let's move. Okay, going forward, you're going to realize that as we look at transformation, we are mainly emphasizing a change. We are mainly emphasizing moving from one state to another. However, there is a deliverable that we expect at the end of the day as we move from that state. What is that deliverable? It must be either achievement of goals or something else, but mainly we want to do all this for the purpose of achievement of goals and objectives. So that is where we are. I want to go to this, and it actually coincides with what some of you were saying, that transformation is a marked change as in appearance or character that is usually for the better. Usually for the better now goes into where someone is talking about where you look at where I am and where I want to be. In class, I think on day one, we try to look at those different states of the organization where we emphasize that we have what we call the past state, the present state, and the future state. The future state looks at where we want to be. The present, the current state looks at where we are, and the past state looks at where we are coming from. And transformation looks at an organization would like to really alter itself. It would like to see itself move from one point to another. And this is where we ask ourselves questions. Is there any organization that would like to remain stagnant? If someone can say yes, I can take that. Is it there? Any organization that would like to remain stagnant, that is in one position?
No, there's no.
There is none. Implying every organization would like to see itself move from where it is to a new position. Question here, why would an organization aim to move from one position to another? Can I have submissions very fast? Why would an organization aim to move from one position to another? Sylvia? Sylvia. You were muted and unmuted. Jingo, Nelly?
To increase the profitability of an organization.
Thank you. Profitability, Nelly? Pardon? Need for competition. Thank you, Nelly. Bavilie? Zaina? Zaina? Just keep putting
the pressure from the rivals.
Okay, yeah, to beat pressure from rivals. Thank you, I think. Zaina?
For expansion.
For expansion, thank you.
To utilize the existing new technology.
Thank you. Utilize the existing new technology. You say that. Harriet?
Changing in business landscape.
Thank you. Changes in the business landscape. Thank you very much. That is good. Nick. Kabahuma, Melisha, Anita.
Desire to be unique in the market.
Thank you, Dithan. Watch one.
Desire for self-renewal.
Desire for self-renewal. Thank you. Thank you. That is Nick, I think. Harriet, you have something? Harriet?
To reduce costs.
To reduce costs. Thank you. That is good. Harriet, the last one. Harriet?
Government regulations may
force, yeah. Thank you. You guys are thinking. Geno?
I think they transform to cope up with the new technology.
Government policy.
Yeah, to cope up with technologies. Thank you. Thank you. Someone admission. Thank you. Pardon? Okay. Let's move. Nasuna Daffin, you've not said a thing. Tell me.
To
Daffin?
improve the quality of goods.
Yes, to improve on quality of products and services. Thank you, Daphne. Luxim, the last one. Jamie.
To enjoy the economies of scale.
To enjoy economies of scale. Thank you. Desire. MM.
Tap the virgin markets.
Yeah, to tap into virgin markets. Thank you. Nasali, Desire.
Yeah, to stay relevant in the competition.
Yes, actually, staying relevant. If I'm to keep up tabs with you there, Jamie, or whoever said, staying relevant has a lot to do with the corporate self-renewal. Gambo, Stella.
Sir, what of this one? To achieve their strategic goals and objectives.
Very good. That is very good, Nick. It is very true. Achieve goals, strategic goals. Thank you. Rachel and Stella, you're the last ones. Rachel, Stella.
To exploit new opportunities.
Thank you. You actually think like MM also said that. Thank you, Rachel. Stella, you're the last one.
To promote a good image with the public.
Thank you. That is the corporate self-renewal. Thank you, Stella.
It also stimulates critical thinking about the future.
Someone is saying it's me with
suffered the network.
my network, I think, is becoming is actually misbehaving. Okay, I'm back. Don't say I don't have data. I have.
So how about if someone says transformation also stimulates critical thinking about the future?
It's my network or her network. My connection seems a bit unstable today. But I think she was talking about something to do with the farsightedness. It helps the organizations to be farsighted. We can also take that. So corporate transformation is a change management strategy which has the aim to align people, processes, and technology initiatives of a company more closely with its business strategy and vision. I think someone along the lines was trying to bring this out, but look at what is it that we are bringing into the picture. People, processes, and technology And we want all of these three to be aligned together to work with the strategy and vision. Look at that, those three. Why are we talking about people here? Why are we talking about processes here? Why are we talking about technology here? The discussion is open. We are talking about aligning people, processes, and technology. Why? Yeah? Rachel?
So I think if it's to do with transformation, like maybe the organization has to change like everything, maybe the way they do things, the technology, the people, so that they can achieve the set goals and then the objectives.
Thank you, Rachel. Someone else? We are talking about aligning people, processes, and technology. What do we mean by that statement?
So in my opinion, I think for ease of achieving the strategy and vision of the business, we need the right people to run the processes and then to be adaptive to the new changes like technology.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That is specifically, actually, that is briefly what it is. Thank you, MM. And we are saying it is a term referring collectively to such activities, sorry, to such activities as re-engineering, redesigning, and redefining business systems. Why do we need the word, why do we put that prefix re there? Because the main word is engineering, the main word is designing, the main word is defining. Why do we add a prefix re on that word? Can someone tell me?
So for me, what I think, these things were already there. The design was already there, but now we are refreshing it.
Thank
We
you.
are trying to make something, so we are renewing.
That means we are only reworking. We are making it better. That's why we talk about things like redesigning, re-engineering, and redefining. And we shall see those words going forward. So as you see them, they actually start there. So we are saying, why do organizations transform? That is what we're talking about. Those are the submissions we had. And here we are saying that it can be used by either internal or external factors. If it is driven by internal change, may be driven by the need to continuously improve performance, mark that. Then external change may be driven by competitors. Now, some no change or external factors, your social, technological, environmental, and legal. You must get in to analyze those factors for you to be able to drive the transformation that you need. Look at the changing business landscape. Look at the government regulations. Look at the global factors. Look at the corporate self-renewal. Corporate self-renewal is about the image, how are we viewed in the market there, and things of that nature. Then look at improving operations as a reason for us to transform. Look at corporate self-renewal. Do I need to explain these things? I think we can understand them, right? Do we understand them well? Like improving operations is very self-explanatory. Sylvia, yeah?
More explanation about corporate self-renewal.
Okay. Actually, self-renewal is about what is our stand within the environment? Just look at what we have in the notes. Self-renewal creates the ability for a firm to anticipate and cope with change so that strategic and operational gaps do not exist. The strategic and operational gaps that we're talking about here are mainly to do with what is it that we can do better than the others in terms of our planning. That is where we talk about self-renewal. Obviously, as we talk about self-renewal, we are looking at also improving the way we do things in the long term. Sylvia, are we okay there?
Yeah, we are fine.
Okay, we move on. So the other way we look at is there are many technologies that are making it possible, but we also want to utilize those technologies to help us as organizations to benefit from someone said economies of scale. So that is the need for us to transform is to tap into those different facilitating conditions for us to be able to benefit as organizations. Then, in order to avail itself of the many advantages of what is EC? I'm forgetting the abbreviation actually, yet it's me who did it. EC. An organization may need to transform existing business activities, processes, both internal and external to the organization.
Electronic commerce.
I'll remember. I'm
So
only
it's electronic commerce.
Yeah, electronic commerce. Okay, I think. Let me remember, but in the meantime, we can take that. Because if you read that statement, in order to avail itself of the many advantages of electronic commerce, an organization may need to transform existing business activities, both internal and external. We can take it. Thank you, MM. You're thinking very, very fast. Then what are the key points to take on from there? In transformation, organizations must break away from the previous ways of acting or from the previous ways of doing things. That means we are totally looking at how do we elevate the way we do things. And elevation obviously requires that we move away from where we are to a higher level. And here we're looking at developing and discovering new opportunities. Then 2, change in behavior of majority of the organization. There's what we call a paradigm shift. Do we know what that means? A paradigm shift.
No.
Someone knows? Who knows what it is? Nick, what is a paradigm shift? Nick. Ditham, what is a paradigm shift? MM, what is a paradigm shift? When you look at point number 2.
I think it's a change in the standards or model, kind of.
It's thank you, but it mainly looks at lines of thinking. We are supposed to as organizations, we are supposed to every now and then promote a uniform line of thinking, but it must be orchestrated by a reason that justifies its existence. So it's a line of thinking. Thank you. Then number 3, creating new content or new context. Content is in line with systems, procedures, policies, structures that dictate how we function in regard to processes. The context mainly looks at how deeply embedded the business models are and how best we can use them to understand how an organization can be driven. Don't forget that the organization is driven by the models of that particular industry. There are models that drive organizations, and we're supposed to use them as organizations to drive processes. And going forward, transformation and IT, we know that IT is the lifeblood of any business. That one we can all know. And the data center is the heart through which the blood, all data is pumped across the different organs. So much as we have the IT, much as that is the information technology, we also have to think about the aspect of data management. It is not just enough for us to have information technology, systems, and that kind of thing. We also have to understand and put in place the different mechanisms that help us to have proper data management in place. If you remember when we're looking at this last week, we said that if there's anything we have to do, we must make sure data is well managed so that decisions are arrived at in the best manner possible. The dominant enabling technology in transforming organizations is information technology. That one we all know. IT not only helps organizations exist and operate seamlessly, but also provides the pulse. You guys know a pulse. A pulse gives rise to a heartbeat. When you go for a health check in a hospital, they usually check for your pulse. Pulse is how many times does your heart pump blood out? That is a pulse. So ERP systems attempt to provide seamless connectivity across the different silos. Silos are functions in a business. The current trends, adoption of web services, and pervasive infrastructures are intended to enable business transformation with the least disruption, e.g. electronic commerce, You are right. Thank you. Then business process outsourcing, that is BPO, outsourcing of complex systems are all examples of business transformations enabled by IT. We shall be seeing, there's a topic that we shall cover under business process outsourcing, and you'll appreciate this better. It will mainly look at why do we need to go out and outsource some of our functions as organizations, okay? The ability to share information and collaborate without geographical constraints changed the way many businesses communicate with staff and clients. I hope can someone explain what a virtual office means? A virtual office. What is a virtual office? I know you guys know these things. A virtual office? Edwin? Edwin? Yes, Richard.
I think it's an online operation, like somebody sits on the computer and started doing the work like using our internet or some.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Richard?
Sir, I think a virtual office is where someone takes all his operations online.
All operations are online, yeah.
Yeah.
Nick?
Yes, sir. I was saying a virtual office is where an individual takes his operations online. For example, he holds meetings online.
Yes.
Marketing online.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you very much. You had something different from that?
I was saying it's just an environment of virtual reality that is representative of a physical office.
Yeah.
It's not actually there.
Thank you. However, you've confused people by saying virtual reality. Can you make that a little clearer?
Yes.
Virtual reality.
Virtual reality is a situation where an environment seems is simulated, where an environment looks like as if it is real.
Yes. Thank you. Maybe to make it more clear, maybe you people have driven what we call games like Need for Speed. Those Need for Speed games give you a simulated vehicle environment. You have a steering wheel, you have gears, you have pedals, and all that kind of thing. And you drive on a road that is simulated. But as you drive, you feel like you're in the actual driving lane. But that is what virtual reality is. So thank you. So we are saying that we no longer need to be physical, but we can now do business virtually. And if there's any ability that all organizations must have, is the ability for them to do business online. Search engine technology allows individuals to access information with unprecedented speed and accuracy. That is the search engine technology, things like Google, the Firefox. You're looking at things like, those are the internet technologies is what we are talking about there. Websites introduce companies and explain value propositions before anyone has to take the time to meet. Nick mentioned this when we're explaining that you'll see a person actually doing everything of theirs online. Marketing will be online. Meetings will be online. Sales will be online. Everything is online. So we no longer need the physical presence for us to do business, but we can actually do business online. Yes, Trudy?
What?
Trudy? Hey, you're busy talking to yourself. Okay, most important, it is a continuous process that never ends. That is transformation. It never ends. There's what we call a transformation cycle. I don't know if I included it in here, but the cycle is something called cyclic, that when you get to level 4, it will prompt you to go back to level 1, level 2, 3, and 4. So you keep on going in circles. So it is very continuous. It is not just about technology. However, technology is important because it is one area to discover and develop new sources of competitive advantage. That one is very clear. It is not the strongest of the species who survive, not the most intelligent, but those who are the most adaptive to change. What does that statement mean? That as organizations, I think in class I told you that in the current day trends, organizations are referred to as growing, or is it growing entities, or what we call moving entities. An organization must always be on their heels. By heels, I mean they must be ready to run every other time something new happens, because innovation is happening every other day in the marketplace. Inventions are happening every other day in the marketplace. Every hour, something new is coming up. As you get used to this system, a new system is coming on board. You're not going to stick to your old system and think you're going to be in business. It could be a source, it could be a point of competitiveness, but 1 year, 2 years down the road, another one will come into the picture and you will be outmatched. So that is what that statement means, that you must be adaptive to change as an organization so that you're able to meet and live up to the expectations of your clients and your strategy needs. Okay. What is new in the trends of IT, IS, and management information systems? And look at things like cloud computing, look at software as a service, look at mobile digital platforms, look at artificial intelligence, look at cryptocurrencies. All of those things are new trends. Then people and behavior changes. Look at managers in their social networks. Some of you that work have noted that it is very rare to go to an organization that doesn't have a WhatsApp group, either departmental or organization-wide group. Why? We are looking at the new trends of communication that are helping different organizations work seamlessly. Employees have access to powerful decision aids. That is where you now go back to the decision support systems and their capability to help them in taking decisions. If you're looking at the power of Excel, for example, there's something called Power BI Info. If you're looking at things like the analysis software, all of those are decision aids. Virtual meetings are accepted and used. Of recent, you're very familiar with Zoom. There's what we call Microsoft Teams. There's so many things that are into the picture. Google Meet, all of those are there. Team Viewer, all of those are there. Then under the organizations, look at the Web 2.0 applications widely adopted. E-commerce, business commerce, look at those things. Telework gains momentum. We now just need a phone to be able to do your work every now and then. Then we are looking at co-creation of value, collaboration across firms. We no longer need to really hustle a lot to collaborate with the firm. All we need is systems. What are the business drivers of IS? There's something called operational excellence. The need for organizations to be the best at the operations. 2, new products, services, and business models. Every now and then, organizations must be able to innovate around the product lines, the service lines, and business models. Okay. Competitiveness in the industry. Yes, Patience. Patience?
Sir, please throw more light on the software as a service.
Software as a service. I didn't want to go so much into the details, but let me do it this way. If have you used, many of you guys know what we call QuickBooks or Tally. They are not yours, but you in that instance that you get it from the provider, use it for a particular period of time. After paying a fee, it becomes a software as a service. I don't know if that makes some bit of sense if I explained it that way. Does it make sense?
We didn't hear the first words, the network.
Oh, I said, just draw I'm taking your imagination to a software like Tally, a software like QuickBooks. You have those softwares that
for a license.
Yes. So that means that software has a provider at the other end, but for you to use that software, you need to make payment and you activate it for a period of time. So you receive it as a service. Are we together? Did you hear me, Stella, now?
Yes.
Okay. So we go. We were new products, services, and business models. I'd explained that. Then number 3 is customer and supplier intimacy. How are you going to keep up tabs with your customers and suppliers? They must be as close as possible. How do we do that with IT and IS? Closeness with them? What networks do you have with them? How do you share information with them every now and then? Improved decision making is another. You're just using the tools that we have.
Does this reconcile with the customer relationship management?
Yes,
and
the
supply
CRM.
chain management?
Thank you. They're very true. It does. Thank you very much, Customer relationship management and supplier relationship management. Thank you very much, Then decision making is very clear for all of us. Competitive advantage, we all know. Survival. Who can explain what survival is in regards to the business objectives aided by IT and IS? Stella Gembo, go for it faster. Survival.
For you to survive in the market, you have to move with the existing trend or the changing trend.
Thank you, Ditham.
For instance, if all businesses are going for online advertising and you stay from you stay on moving door to door, then you may not survive.
You will be left aside. Yes, thank you very much. Past your expectations, patience. Patience. Nick?
Yeah, I wanted to give some kind of explanation. A business may need to invest in information system so that it can keep up with its competitors. I call that survival.
You call that?
Survival. Investing in information systems so that you can keep up with your competitors. For example, a new technology comes up and you invest in it. As in, you don't look at the necessities, but you invest in it.
Now, Nick,
yes,
that counts more on number 5. Have you seen number 5? Competitive advantage. You've seen that?
Sir.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen there.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yes, patience.
I think survival comes in businesses can adapt the IT, new trends so that they can reduce on maybe the expenses or costs so that they can still operate, but still operate under low costs. Okay, that's what I think.
Operate under low cost. Thank you, patience.
So,
give it a shot.
For me, I think is how long the business can play its game right to stay in business along with its competitors.
Thank you. How long? Say that again, Let's get those words clear. You actually brought it well. How long a business can play its game?
Yes, sir. In order to maintain in the market along with these competitors.
Thank you. Thank you. There's something called a determinate period. A determinate period. Yes, Sylvia.
I've not heard anything from Emil. The network was breaking.
He said that it looks at how long a business can be able to play its game. Playing its game is how long it can do business alongside its competitors with a view of keeping afloat. Does that make some bit of sense to you, madam?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. We move on, right? Are we tired? Can I stop here?
But sir, I have a question.
Yes.
MM's answer, is it not aligned with the competitors thing?
No, actually his is in line with how best can we keep in operation for longer, but obviously targeting our competitive position. Yours was mainly around what is it that we can do best to keep afloat. You get the difference?
Yeah.
Yes, it was a bit different, Nick. No hard feelings.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Dithan.
Yeah, when I look at survival, in the business perspective, it means there is something that wants to push you out, but you are looking for ways of how you can
stay inside.
How you can stay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, you're right. However, your ability to stay in business must be determined by your resolve to keep going in that particular business. Automatically, it goes into how do we innovate around our products? How do we innovate around our services? What business models are we using? How do we make our decisions? How do we handle our customers? All that goes into the picture. It is not an easy road, but all organizations must be able to ride on survival as a business objective. Litham, are we fine? Litham, Wachchenga?
We are okay, sir.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. We move. Yeah,
Excuse me,
please.
sir.
Stella, yeah?
About the survival, can't I bring this as in producing the quality products? Yeah, can't it come on that
now
part?
what about if I Stella?
Yeah.
Stella?
Yes,
how about
sir.
if I go to things like operational excellence? When I talk about quality, how about if I go to operational excellence? How about if I go to things like competitive advantage? Don't you think that is where it works better? On survival, just like MM said, we are looking at how do we remain afloat despite anything that will happen in the organization? How are we able to see our future even if things don't work out the way we want them to work out? That is what we are mainly targeting. I hope that is clear to all of us.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. These ones we've explained. I will move a little faster. Decision making we've seen, competitive advantage we've seen. Maybe what you can see under survival here, businesses may need to invest in IS out of necessity, simply the cost of doing business. However, look at keeping up with competitors, then look at keeping up with the federal and state regulations and reporting requirements, but all of them geared towards helping you to remain afloat in business. Let me see. These ones are regarding carriers. These ones, when you're reading, you'll understand. Oh, okay. How information systems will affect business carriers. How IT helps achieve 6 business objectives, central role of databases, information analysis. This I think you can read. I may not go there. Why don't I stop here, guys? Is it okay?
What are the 6 business objectives?
The ones that we've just been looking at.
Oh.
These ones here.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so it's fine. We can stop here.
Operation excellence. Pardon? Nick?
I was saying it's fine. We can stop here.
Okay.
I was saying it's
okay. Thank you for listening, guys. It was nice interacting with you. Have a nice evening. Catch you again next time. Have a good night.
So, excuse me?
Yes. Yes, Tina?
Yes,
Tina?
so excuse me. Hello?
Tina, I'm listening.
Yes, I'm requesting for the notes.
Yeah, the notes will come through tomorrow. I'm going to send them through Nelly. You'll have them. Eh?
Okay, sir.
Okay, have a good night.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel.